Hi, everyone. You have no idea how many times I've tried to figure out a cool and exciting and engaging way to start the video, so I just kind of ended up with this. I'm John Float, your professor for this summer semester in stats. And thank you to all those who went ahead and asked questions. You can kind of see them up on the screen right now. And also thank you to those who went ahead and did like an introduction of yourself or something like that. And mega bonus points to those who did a video similar to what I'm about to do now, because I did watch them and they were fantastic. So thank you so much for doing that. But now I'm just going to go ahead and answer these questions. They're all excellent. I think there's about 29, I think. 20, yeah, about 29. But some of them are like repeats, which is fine. I'm going to go over them anyways. All right. We'll just dive right in then. What do you like to do for fun? Ooh, that's a good one. I like to hang out with my wife, obviously, watch movies. I'm a big geek, so I enjoy video games still. Yes, I'm one of those people. Um, in fact, I don't know. Maybe I can show this the PlayStation 5 for life. Although I do game on my PC as well, and I used to have an Xbox, but now I got a PC with a really good video card, so there's really no need to get an Xbox. What else do I do for fun? I like wrestling a lot. Like I said, I'm such a nerd. I also play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons now. I'm really into that. If you're ever interested, you can join the Gaming Society on campus. I'm the advisor for that. Or if you need to, you can also join the honors program because I'm the South Campus coordinator for honors. That's what I like to do for fun and work. Love to work. Do you have another job outside of teaching at CCAC? Yes, I actually do. It doesn't really pay anything at all, really. Um, anytime I live in Monroeville, so anytime there's like a council meeting or a zoning meeting or there's a parade or something like that, I am part of Monroeville TV. So I help to run the camera crew, or I'm down in the control room doing all the visual effects and everything like that. I do it just because of two reasons. First, I think it's awesome. It's so much fun doing something like that. And then number two, I have a dog, which there's a question later on. Do you like dogs or cats? I have a dog, and he likes to go to doggy daycare, so I just use that money just to pay for his doggy daycare stuff. What made you want to become a stats professor? Ooh, that's a loaded question. Let me think about this. How do I want to answer this one? So initially, I didn't know. So how about that? All right. Now to kind of go a little bit more into it. Um, Originally I went to the University of Pittsburgh. I was a chemistry major. I thought being a chemist would be so much fun. Uh, but the thing I hated the most about chemistry was the lab reports. I hated writing all these lab reports. And It was organic chemistry 2 I was in. And I mean, those lab reports were just crazy. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I absolutely hate this. So, to make a very long story very short, that night I had a Calc 2 exam. Went in to take the Calc 2 exam. It was on differential equations, and I finished it within like 5 minutes. Left, slammed the test down, just left. Complained the whole night to everybody about my problems, which is what young people are really good at doing. And it was really nice because I had a professor that actually was listening to me that night. The following class, it was a one night 4 hour class, Calc 2. That's the way I like math courses. But anyways, um, it was really nice because the next class, his name is Mr. McCarthy, and he goes, "I'd like to talk to you after class." And instantly, I'm thinking, "Oh no, I must have cheated. Like he must think I'm cheating on something, right?" And He goes, "I heard you last week talking about you didn't know what you wanted to do with your life, and you hate this what you're doing now." Um, he goes, "You really need to consider about a career in math." He goes, "You're really good at this." And I was like the one of the only few people that would actually write out all of the units and everything. So if it was like miles per hour, I would have miles fraction bar per hour underneath, things like that. I always did stuff like that. So I thought about it, and I did what most students would do. I Googled everything, how hard is it to become a mathematician? What do they do? How much do they make? Everything like that. And I thought long and hard about what is it about chemistry that I like, and it was all the math stuff. So I went into the registrar's office, changed my major in math, and it was the greatest decision I've ever made. Now, what made me want to become a stats professor was graduate school. My graduate degrees are in applied mathematics. So it's a lot of calculus and a lot of statistics married together. And for me, it just made absolute sense. So becoming a stats professor was just absolutely amazing. And I've been doing it for a long time now. What is your favorite spot in Pittsburgh? Oh, what do I like to go in Pittsburgh? That's a good question. Whew. Okay. I really like going out to dinner with my wife. That's fun. But we don't go downtown enough. So I'm pretty sure she would want that to change. Um, I took my dog to Frick Park over the weekend, so that was a lot of fun. I like going to like outdoor places down there where I can bring like my dog because that's pretty fun. Um, I don't like going to Steeler games anymore. It's too congested, too many people. Uh, Penguin games are fun, but again, traffic and everything. Pirate games are good, but again, traffic and everything. So, my favorite spot in Pittsburgh would just have to be anywhere where I can just hang out, relax, listen to some good music, maybe walk my dog or something like that. Do you find it more difficult to teach online versus in person classes? Absolutely. All right. So, the big thing that I have with online teaching is from a student from your advantage, you can't do this and then instantly get a response. That instant gratification is not there. All right. In fact, I have no idea what you're doing at home. I hope you're reading your book. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're studying. I hope you're not using any type of online cheating thing because it exists. I know it does. And now with all the AI stuff, it's just insane. I mess around with all that stuff just to see what it's like and what I should be kind of pushing back against. So I love in-person classes because then I get to meet you, I get to know you. Um, there's a lot more conversation between the two of us, um, and I'm more likely to like yeah, give partial credit and stuff like that because I know what you're going through versus teaching online. It's like I hope you're doing what you're supposed to do, but for the majority, I never have a problem with that. I've had issues in the past where, I mean, I've clearly know that students were cheating, and I called them out on it. I didn't like get them kicked out of school or anything. I just said, hey, here's what's gonna happen. This is gonna come back to bite you at the worst possible time. And it's usually around like graduation or something like that, or when you're trying to get into a graduate school. Maybe you want to go in for a master's or a PhD or something like that. And you are collecting this data for a thesis that you're writing, and you have no idea what to do. All right. So that's when it's kind of like, yeah, maybe you should have listened to Professor Flo for a little bit. But, anyways, what is the best part of being a professor? I'm not going to lie, the hours aren't bad. All right. I get to pick my schedule every semester. So that's a major advantage. I get to work with very, very engaging people. The best part about being a professor, to be honest with you, is not necessarily working with students that are like I can tell there are some students that I work with where at that moment in time they are much smarter than I was at that moment in time in their life. Like I can see that. It's the ones who really want to learn. That's the best part. Nobody is forcing you to take a summer class. Like all of you signed up for this class because you wanted to be here or it is a requirement that you need to get to the next level or whatever it is. So you've all demonstrated to me first that you want to be here. That's the best part. It's working with people who want to be better. And I am just in a very good position where I understand mathematics. I think I'm decent at explaining it. I just hope that, what I'm trying to convey, you internalize and you can apply it somewhere else. So that's the best part of being a professor, just watching people become a better version of themselves. What is your favorite Pittsburgh food spot? And do you have a favorite professional sports team? Well, of course, the sports team's easy. It's all the Pittsburgh teams, even though the Pirates are just garbage and they've been so bad for so long. I still enjoy going down to see a game. I'm probably a little more critical of the Steelers only because it's the most popular sport around here. Penguin games, absolutely love going to Penguin games. I just hate all the traffic and everything like that. Now, my favorite Pittsburgh food spot, I like Hyde Park. It's a very fancy steak place. So I don't obviously go down there a lot, but oh my gosh, food is amazing there if you get a chance to go. What made you want to become a professor? So this kind of piggybacks off the off question three, which is what made you want to become a stats professor. So I can engage with this a little bit further. What made me want to become a professor was I was a tutor at one time, and being a tutor, it's one thing, and I think we've all been in this situation before, but it's one thing to be able to do like a math problem. It's another thing to have somebody come up to you and say, "Oh, you got the answer correct. How did you do that?" Explaining what you did is a lot more involved than just doing it. All right. So I liked the explaining aspect of it because it forced me to think about the moves that I made or the technique that I was learning or the definition or theorem that I was trying to apply. It forced me to think about it in a different way. One of my favorite classes that I ever taught, ironically, was an algebra course. It was like an algebra one, but everybody in the class was a foreign exchange student. So, I not only did I learn how to explain math in like a more simplified version, but I also started looking at how do I learn other people's languages to try to incorporate that so I can like once again I can just convey what I'm trying to teach. So that was like one of my favorite classes I ever taught because it forced me to be better. Um, do or did you play any sports? Oh yeah, I played tons of sports. Played football and from when I was like 12 years old or 11 years old, 10. Gosh, it was so long ago. 10 years old up until high school. I could have played in college, but it was like a Division 3 school. So the only people that show up are like the coach and your mom. That's it. And you're basically paying to play, not like nobody's paying you. So I didn't do that. And then I love ice hockey, so I played a lot of ice hockey. I was a goalie, so that was a lot of fun because I didn't have to skate too much. I just had to know how to go left and right very fast and get in the butterfly position, which I was pretty good at. What is your favorite TV show or movie? Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple because it talk to me tomorrow and it changes. TV shows. Love, love Trailer Park Boys. I watched a lot of Trailer Park Boys when I was in grad school. Because it was easy, it was funny, it was very simplified, stupid humor. All day long, I'm thinking, I'm doing stuff. I don't want to come home and watch something that's like, you know, made for a brainiac. I just wanted to relax. So Trailer Park Boys. I think obviously a lot of people love Breaking Bad. I think I've watched the entire Breaking Bad TV series. I don't know, maybe 7, 8 times, and each time I notice something different, which is just absolutely fascinating. Um, movies. Oh boy, I like any late 80s, early 90s action movie. So anything with like Sylvester Stallone, Jean Claude Van Damme, stuff like that. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Love all those like movies like that. Because that was like my era that I grew up in. So it was fun. I enjoy watching them. The movie that I'm currently binging consistently is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Funny movie. It's on Tubi if you've never seen it before. So we'll leave it at that. What are your hobbies or personal interests? So this kind of goes back to what I like to do for fun. Like I said, video games, stuff like that. Um, I used to make a lot of YouTube tutorials for different video games out there. So I had like my own separate YouTube channel and stuff like that. I never wanted to be famous with that because I understand like how saturated that is. And like streaming on Twitch and stuff like that was appealing, but it was more like I just did it because I just liked it. Um, but I really like tech. So that I mean, if you ask me what are my personal interests, tech, right? The big thing right now. So this is the big thing. I want to get a 3D printer so I can start printing out my own scenes and miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons for D&D. Like I think that's what I want to do. But there's a lot more I got to learn before I do that. What type of music do you like? Oh, I hate this question, especially when you ask people that they're like, "Oh, I like everything." No, I don't like everything. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now. So if you were to go on my Spotify list right now, it would probably be a lot of uh, grindcore, so I like a lot of hardcore music. Like, oh, what are some bands? Okay, I need to use popular bands because maybe we don't know these ones. So here's the most the popular ones like Deftones. Love Deftones. Love '90s hip hop, Tribe Called Quest, stuff like that. Once again, that's when I grew up though, so I'm kind of partial to that. Um, I'm sorry, I really don't like a lot of music today. That's me, the old guy. Oh, well, not back in my day. Whatever. I get it. I just don't find it that appealing. Um, I like classical music, but only when I'm working because it just keeps me going. And uh, and that's about it, really. I'm more of a podcast person, so I love listening to wrestling podcasts, video game podcasts, podcasts about astronomy, space, science, stuff like that. So that's really what I like to do. Or listen to. I'm sorry. Hello. Thank you for the exclamation point. I love that. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have four. So let me see. None of them are in here right now. So maybe later on in the semester, if I can grab them, I'll show you what they look like. But I have three cats and one dog. So in order of their age, Ernie is the oldest. Then we have Galileo. Then we have Arthur, who's the dog, and then we have Lucky, who's another cat. All of our animals were all rescues, and Ernie and Galileo are polydactyl, so they have like extra toes on their fingers and or on their hands and everything. They have extra toes, and Arthur also has extra toes on his back. On his back legs, I mean, not his not on his back. We thought he was a Great Pyrenees, but then Molly, my wife, she got one of those DNA tests on him. Turns out he's like almost all husky with like some other stuff mixed in. Um, and he's like all white. Galileo is all black. Ernie is half gray, half white, and Lucky is all white with a black tail. Super cool looking. Um, so yeah, there's the animals. Love them all equally. But Arthur is like he's the big baby because he's the dog, and he always wants to be around me. He always wants to go for WALK. Yes, I have to spell it out, or else he's gonna go bananas. So yeah, there's my animals. Hello, why are you interested in teaching prob and stats? All right, so this is different from the third or the other two questions, becoming a professor or becoming a stats professor. Why am I interested in teaching prob and stats? So I can go ahead and you can if you see me out on the streets, you could definitely say, hey, Professor Philip, when would I ever use this? And I will give you examples of when we use things in math. All right, because I think that's always hard to answer for some people. It's like, when would I ever use solving a linear equation? I will show you when and where and how you do it. All right. Prob and stats though is honestly it's like the really one of the first math courses where it's used everywhere and it's you're being bombarded with statistics all day long and probability all day long. And like I said, you may not even notice it. Like when you drive down the street, the likelihood that you get a green light is dependent on the time of the day. And it also depends really on has the city that you are currently in, have they upgraded their systems to AI systems? Because AI systems will learn when are the hot spots for traveling on this road, what road has the heavier traffic, is it inbound or outbound, and then it uses probabilistic models to figure out, okay, we're going to leave this light on for 30 seconds, the other one will leave on for 2 minutes. So, and this is happening because when you go to the same red light at a different part of the day, you're sitting there going, man, this light was fast, but during rush hour, it's forever. Well, there's a reason for that. All right. So, Prob and Stats is one of those courses where it's like it is used everywhere. Once we start hitting like chapter 5, 4, 5, 6, and all that, almost every problem is going to be a word problem. And it's because you're going to put yourself in that situation and figure out and try to determine, what is the best possible answer, which is another thing. All right. Like I said, you always hear like you are bombarded with stats all day long, and it's the stats prove this and the stats prove that. Well, if anybody says that, just walk away because stats, it doesn't prove anything, really. It doesn't. All stats really does for us is it provides us with a picture of the data that we've collected at that moment in time. For example, doctors used to smoke in the room with you. But that was, 80, 90 years ago. And now we realize, there's a correlation between smoking and, let's say, lung cancer or congestive heart failure or cancer and stuff like that. Smoking, that doesn't mean smoking causes them. It just means there's a correlation between the two. All right. So, 90 years ago, they didn't they collected data, but they weren't asking those questions. So that's what stats does. It just basically provides a picture of the data you've collected at that moment in time. And when we are long gone and dead, 150 years, 200, 300, 500 years from now, everything that we think right now is the stats prove is going to change. It's going to change because techniques get better, uh, data collection tools get better, technology gets better, people get smarter. It just happens. That's all. So that's why I'm really interested in teaching problem stats because I like to be able to at least try to understand and explain the world around me. What are some of your favorite hobbies? I kind of answered this one before. The what do you like to do for fun? If it's a Friday night and I don't have to worry about anything, I'm going on Destiny 2. Love Destiny 2. Love playing that game. I'm very good at it. I'm competitive with it. Uh, my I guess clan, my ex clan, not the one I'm in now, but the ex one. They're all Bungie employees, so they're the ones that actually developed the game. They developed Halo and stuff like that. So I definitely love that game a lot. So that's on a Friday night. I'm getting some pizza and doing that. All right, if I don't have to worry about anything. All right. What is your favorite place to go on vacation? So I don't really go on vacation a lot, but I mean, I go places. My wife goes places. Sometimes you go to the same place, which is kind of funny when you think about it that way. Like for example, she already went to where did she go? She went like Boston or something like that earlier, and then she just flew down to Austin. I stayed home with the animals and stuff like that. But if I don't have to worry about anything, 100% we're going back to Ireland and Dublin. Or I'm sorry, Ireland and London. Two of my favorite places. We did that for our honeymoon, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was such a cool place to go to, both of them. So that's where I would go if I didn't have to worry about anything. Are you a big sports fan? If so, what's your favorite sport? What are your favorite teams? Kind of answered this one before. Huge sports fan. Favorite sport? Favorite sport to watch on TV is soccer. Favorite sport to attend in person is hockey. Favorite teams? All the Pittsburgh teams, even the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, which is our local soccer team. Love that. I enjoy. One of the reasons why I have YouTube TV is because I like the Premier League and everything. I watch all that stuff. Um, I also love watching football. Don't get me wrong, but football games are so long. They're for like 4 hours. It's only a 60-minute game, but it's like 4 hours long. Uh, with hockey and soccer games, they don't go to a commercial until something happens. In soccer, they don't even go to commercial. So it's 45 minutes of just pure excitement. That's why I like it. What is your zodiac sign? Well, if my wife was down there, she would tell you that I am a textbook Leo. My birthday's August 5th. I am like if you read characteristics of a Leo, that is me 100%. So whatever those are, you can look them up. But I mean, that is me to a T. Like that's exactly who I am. What is your favorite aspect of probability and stats, and why have you chosen this field of study? So I kind of answered these ones before, but I'll kind of go a little bit more in depth now with this one. My favorite aspect of problem stats is, like I said, it's the ability to explain what's happening around me. All right, and it changes from as time progresses, which is like really cool. Why have I chosen this field to study? It was just Mr. McCarthy. He was the one that said you really need to think about what it is about chemistry that you like because you're really good at math, and he said you should really consider a career in math. What is your favorite food or meal? All right. My go to, I can eat this every day. I can eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is pizza. Love pizza. Love pizza from anywhere. The only thing better than a slice of pizza is free pizza. I've eaten pizza from almost every place in the city. Um, I prefer the local shops over the pizza chains. But if I had to pick my favorite pizza, it would have to be. Oh, if I'm not worried about a heart attack, Vincent's Pizza in Forest Hills, absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, you can only eat that like once every 10 years because it's just it is that bad for you. Go to if I'm having a really good day and I want to drive there would be Yellow's Pizza, which is in Squirrel Hill, or Napoli's, which is in Monroeville. That's where I live, actually, Monroeville. Um, then like the boys are coming over, we're watching wrestling or we're playing D&D. That would definitely be Fox's Pizza from the original, very first ever Fox's Pizza location in Pitcairn, which is where I grew up as a kid. So it's the best one. All right, yo, you like dogs or cats? I like them both. I don't have a preference. Cats are easier to take care of. Dogs at least greet you when you walk in the door. Cats are like, oh, you're home? Feed me. All right. Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor? Yes, I do. I do not like sweets that much. But, oh, hi, Arthur. I'll pick up Arthur in a little bit so you can see him. I don't like sweets that much. Like, I don't like cake. I never eat cake at birthday parties or anything like that. If I get a candy bar, I only eat like half of it, and then the other half, it stays in the refrigerator for like a week before I go back to it. But ice cream, chocolate ice cream with strawberries. I don't think you can go wrong with that. Uh, what motivated you to become a math instructor? Once again, that was the tutoring and everything. Like I loved tutoring. Now, my plan A, and I highly suggest all of you, if you do not have multiple plans, all right, uh, good luck. All right, plan A for me was definitely teaching in higher ed. Okay, um, plan B was teaching in high school. I like kids. I don't want to work with kids. All right. So that was like plan B. Plan B was like, oh, I'll be a high school math teacher. I think that'll be all right. I'll have fun with that. But plan A was definitely grad school all the way. So luckily I got a full ride into grad school. Everything was great with that. And once I graduated from graduate school, I taught at the University of Pittsburgh for 4 years, 4 or 5 years. I left there because my position was an instructor position, and I wanted a full professor. So left there, and then I was the statistics stat coordinator at West Liberty University, which is in West Virginia. So I was a stat coordinator there for 3 years, a little under 3 years. Um, and I also taught at Cal U, California University of Pennsylvania. Ironically, Cal U, out of all the schools, they pay the most, which is like crazy when you think about it. And now I'm at CCAC. And the reason for that is I started my educational career at CCAC. I went to CCAC out of high school for like a year, then I transferred down to Pitt. And once I got my bachelor's degree, the assistant dean at Boyce, who knew me, said, "Hey, once you get your bachelor's, uh, let us know, because I want you to teach a class for us." I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool. I would love that," because uh, Mr. Farinelli, he knew that I wanted to be a professor. Like he knew that. We've talked about it multiple times. So he was like, "I'll get you a class up here, then, and you can see what it's like, see if you like it and stuff like that." So it was like, all right. So I got, as soon as I got my bachelor's, I did that. And as soon as I got my bachelor's, Dr. Ben Bernane, who was the head of the math department at Cal U, he contacted me, and he said, as soon as you get your master's, let us know so you can come down here and teach for us too. And I was like, that's fantastic. So I've been in higher ed for a long time. But the one common theme throughout all of my teaching career, so roughly 10 to 12 years, I always taught a class at CCAC. And I've never had more enjoyment and more excitement at any of the schools than CC's, because CCAC has an extremely diverse population. People, all ages, backgrounds, everything under the sun. It's nice to engage with people like that. And I grew up really poor, all right? And one of the things that I just remember growing up that was like really, really hard for me to swallow it was just tough. Was my mom, we single mom, and I was like 10 or 11 years old babysitting my brother and sister who, if I was 10, and I'm not kidding you, I was babysitting at 10 years old, all right? My brother Joe would have been 6, and my sister Jennifer would have been she would have been 4. So I just remember my mom going to work during the day, excuse me, and then school at night, and it was just like I mean, when you think about it, like when I think about like as an adult now, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did my mom not get arrested for that? You know, like leaving this, but she did what she had to do. I think about that not every day I drive to work, but it hits me every once in a while. It just hits me, and I'm like, I am here because I want to help people because I know what it's like. I know what it's like, you know, just to not have anything and then try to be better. So I'm just here to try to help people be better. That's it. And although I obviously got that feeling at Pitt and West Liberty, CCAC was like where it hit me the hardest. So I was like, this is where I belong. This is where I feel good. This is where I have zero stress. All right. Let's see here. What was the next question? Favorite ice cream? Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped one. I'm sorry. Hi. I am wondering what is a good way to keep track daily task for this class? The best way to keep track of everything in this class is to create a schedule. Now, for example, if you work, some of us work, you know, consistent hours. Maybe it's 8 to 4 or I don't know, 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, whatever it is. You got to make time for this. All right. My advice would be to look at the guided notes, watch the YouTube tutorials, read the book, make sure you understand the definitions. If you were just memorizing problems and you know when you've done that. And here's the example of when you've done that, all right? If you studied hard for a test, right? And we're using math obviously, and you're going over all the example problems, you're going over the homework problems, and initially you weren't getting them correct, and now you're nailing them, you're getting them correct every time, and you're like, man, I feel so good about this. If you know, tomorrow's test, I'm gonna crush it. Then you go take the test, and you leave, and you're like, what just happened? And you talk to somebody in class, you're like, did any of those problems look like anything on the homework or anything? And next thing you know, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, nothing that you studied was on the test. That is because you were memorizing the problems without understanding the techniques involved. For example, here's a question you can ask yourself. How many steps are there to solve a linear equation? Or better yet, what is a linear equation? A linear equation is when all the variables, it doesn't matter how many you have, and it doesn't matter what they look like. They could be X, Y, Z. If they're all raised to the first power, that's a linear equation. And how many steps are there to solve that? 6. There are 6 steps. All right. How do you know when you're looking at a population versus a sample? Or how do you know when to apply a test for means or a test for proportions? There are definitions. You study the definitions. You memorize the definitions. You learn how to apply them to a problem. You don't memorize the problem, though. You understand the technique involved. So to keep up on everything, create a schedule. Be disciplined about it, which is like the hardest thing. All right? And I get that. That's why this class is asynchronous. I will open up a couple chapters at a time in case you want to work ahead. That's fine with me. All right? But if you ever have questions, do not hesitate to ask. All right? You got to let me know. Okay? Okay, so yeah, that was a problem, or that was the question I skipped. So let's see here. Task instructor, what is something on your bucket list that you would like to complete in the next year? Well, I guess first and foremost, I guess I would like to really learn how to use a 3D printer so I can print up miniatures and stuff like that. But that is like it's boring. You know, that's being selfish. One of the bucket list things I think I would like to do is I would like to create a new way for people to get more involved in school activities. It is so difficult to get people outside to do stuff now. And I get it. I understand why, you know? So how can I become more engaging? How can I get people to be involved more like in the gaming society or in the honors program and stuff like that? So that would be a bucket list thing, would be to increase student engagement in those domains, because when you have student engagement and student buy-in, those students tend to take things a little bit more seriously. when I used to work. This is when I was an undergrad. I had an internship for the Penn State Electro Optics Research Center, which is in Armstrong County, and there are no classes there. It is literally a research facility, and we did research on lasers, photonics, uh, like laser guided systems and stuff like that. And one of the things that we were also responsible for was community outreach. So since I was an undergrad internship, they were like, "Hey, you need to figure out a program that you can create that'll get more student engagement. We want people to be more involved in science, technology, engineering, and math somehow, but you got to do it in a cool way." So I was like, "All right." So I got a grant to go down to NREC, which is the National Robotics Engineering Center down in Lawrenceville, and I for like 2.5, 3 weeks, I just took like one of those like crash courses in building robots, and then how can we use them to teach students about science, technology, engineering, and math. So that was one of the things I did, and it was so much fun. And the the lurking variable, which you're going to learn what that is. It's one of those definitions. The lurking variable that I did not account for when I was creating this program for the students, and it was huge success. Was as soon as the students built the robots, they named them, and I sat back and I thought about once you name something, right? Like like you get a kitten or a puppy, or you build a robot. When you name it, that is like kind of like, oh my gosh, like I'm in love with this thing. Like this is awesome. This is something that I can take care of. And as soon as they named their robots, and I did not have them name a robot at all. I was like, yeah, here's the directions how to build it. You can build it however you want, but just understand you're gonna have to navigate. You're gonna have to navigate a maze. You're gonna have to pick up. They were tennis balls on top of the little cardboard cut out of the toilet paper when you're done with it. There were tennis balls on top. They had to pick up the tennis balls with however they could. Maybe it was an arm that came down and like grabbed it and lifted it up, or maybe like a shovel or something like that. Whatever. And they had to program the robot to do this. But as soon as they named it, the game changed. I was no longer trying to corral all the kids into one room and say, okay, we got to work on this. It was, okay, what do you want to do? Oh, we want to do this. We want to do this. I didn't have to do anything. It was like, oh my gosh. So, that was just absolutely amazing. All right. Wow, that was a really long-winded answer for that. Question 26. Do you play poker and how do you feel about the game? No, I do not play poker. I know how to play poker. I don't like gambling because I work very hard for my money. So I don't want to waste it. Now, when every once in a while, like maybe once every couple months, like 3, 4 months, Molly and I will go down to the casino. And basically, what it boils down to is I just give her my money because she wins all the time and I lose all the time. So I don't even play. I just give her the money, let her do her thing. And the way I look at it is if we go down with $100 and we come home with $100, it's a win. And normally that ends up happening where she'll end up winning enough where we can like get dinner or something down there, and we just come back with the same amount of money that we drove down with. For me, awesome. So yes, I know what poker is. I think the game's interesting. I work way too hard. I don't want to lose my money like that. My other question is, and I'm not sure where to find the course notes if they're any available yet or not. Yeah, they've been available since the beginning of the semester. So with question 27, I will come back and I will show you where all that information is at the end. Let me answer these last two here. Are you from the area or did you move to Pittsburgh? If you moved, how'd you end up here? No, I'm from the area. I grew up. So I grew up in Pitcairn, which is a little crappy town. I love it though. Every time I drive through it, I can like picture myself riding my bike or playing football on the football field or baseball and stuff like that. I can still visualize like me and my friends like running up the one hill that was like, if you can run up the hill, you were like considered the most amazing person on earth because the hill was like super steep and everything. But now I live right behind Monroeville Mall. I like it here. My wife likes it here. Uh, we have a nice house, nice big yard, stuff like that. Um, I do see us moving. I don't know when, but as of right now, it's so quiet and everything. One of the things we like to do is sit out on the front deck. I have a TV out there. once the weather's nice, I carry a little TV outside, and we just watch movies and stuff like that. So, did I move to Pittsburgh? No. Did I move though a lot when I was a kid? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I lived everywhere. That's why I don't think I would ever want to. If I move again, that's it. Because as a kid, I moved everywhere, and it was like crazy. And then, do you enjoy teaching online or in person more? I'm gonna say in person more, because like I said, I get to know who you are. I get to see your face, right? I get to say hello to you. Maybe I see you out in public. Um, I had a weird interaction once with a student. I went to Home Depot, and he was working behind a counter, and he rings me up and everything. He's like, "Are you Professor Flo by chance?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I'm such and such. I don't want to give you their name." He goes, "I'm such and such. I was in your algebra. I was in your algebra and then pre-calculus course." Never turned their camera on once though, and I was like, "Boy, it would have been really nice if you at least turn." I didn't say this, but I'm thinking it would have been really nice to have you in person, or at least if you had your camera on. So when I walked up to the counter, I can say, "Oh, hey, what's going on? How are you?" Like I could engage in the conversation a little bit more than just, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" So I do like in person more. Teaching online though, I got to be honest with you, I still like that because it's forced me to think about how to present the material in a different way. So I've invested some money into editing programs like Sony Vegas. I have a Elgato 4K 60 Pro capture card in my computer. I got this crazy setup here. I don't think my camera's not long enough. I wish I could like just turn the camera on so you can see like how I have everything set up. So I have my laptop plugged into my PC, and then my PC I have dual monitors and everything. Because I really think about what would be the more engaging thing in terms of online. And here's the best part: if you can think of something that I can do better, I would love to know what that is, because it's only going to help me grow as an online instructor more. So maybe there's something I do where you're like, "Man, this is awesome. I loved it. I love that he does this," or, "Oh, I cannot stand this. Please, I wish it would change." I am not going to take offense to it. All right, just as long as you're like, you don't start the email off with like, "Hey, dummy, don't do this." Like I would be like, "Come on," But I mean, just tell me, "Hey, it would be really cool if you thought about doing it this way," or "It'd be really cool if you provided a lot more graphs and everything," or because I use a lot of like Excel. I use a lot of, it's called Salt. I wish I could use SPSS or R, but that requires students to know like how to program a little bit and stuff like that. So, and I'm not going to be, this is an intro to problem stats. I'm not going to force or require students to understand how to do that. But I use Salt, which is it's a statistical analysis learning tool. I also use my TI-84 calculator a lot, which I do have a program on my computer. So, anytime I'm like showing people how to do that, I can make videos and stuff like that. So teaching online has definitely forced me to change the way that I think about presenting the material. I'm pretty sure there's better ways to do it out there. I researched them. I try to at least. And this summer, the big thing is right now I want to start writing my own books, like my own math books, um, because there are certain things I love about like our text, and there's things I don't like about it. It would and one, I have a flow that I like to use and stuff like that, a little ebb and flow. But anyways, like I said, by all means, if you can think of something that I can do that's better, let me know. Would love to see it. But for now, I'm going to go back to question number 27, which is, I just want to show you the course notes and stuff like that real fast. So let me get rid of that. Let me open up Firefox real fast. Bring it over here. Sign into CCAC. Sorry, bear with me, everyone. All right, here's Blackboard. Let me get rid of my camera too real fast. Well, we'll wait till we're in class. All right. All right, so here we go. Stats, doesn't matter what stats. And camera's gone. So in the left-hand side, let me enter student preview mode so you can see it. So announcements, every Monday you're going to get a different announcement, all right? So make sure you're checking them. On the left-hand side here, we got YouTube tutorials, course syllabus, and important forms. So underneath the tutorials, all right, this is where everything is. So how to use WebAssign, how to type in math in Blackboard, note taking, and how to use Licks if you were interested in professional writing tools, not like Microsoft Word. If you're writing a journal or an article, or you're doing research or a thesis or a dissertation, you're not going to use Word. All right, you're going to be using something a little bit more advanced than that. The thing I use is called Licks. All right, but there's other ones. All right, so each chapter has its own folder. So we'll click on like bivariate, not bivariate data. Let's go to measures of center. That one's a little bit more involved. So underneath that folder, you have the guided notes. With the guided notes, I give you the blank versions and I give you solutions. So by all means, I would definitely look at the blank version first. All right. So I would look at the blank version first and then come back and say, okay, well, did I get everything I needed out of that, out of the video and out of the readings? All right. And you should, but then I actually I have the answers. This thing right here is in the video because I use Excel to do that. But everything else is kind of like in here in terms of note taking and stuff like that. And like I said, every single chapter has their own videos, their own guided notes, all that good stuff. Now, the homework and everything is through WebAssign. So any assessment, homework, quiz, exam, they'll all be in WebAssign. So let me just show you that real fast. Let me get there. How long is this video? Oh my gosh, it's already 46 minutes. Good enough. We'll open student view. Zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Excuse me. So once you go into WebAssign, across the top, you got home, my assignments, grades, communication calendar, my ebooks. Here are all the homeworks and everything like that. If you happen to miss an assignment, all right, these deadline dates are only there to keep you on track. That's it. Let me put the camera back in here. There you go. Look how handsome I am. There you go. All right. So these deadline dates are only there to keep you on track. Excuse me, on track. Now, if you need to like go back and do an assignment, you can click on past assignments. All right. And you can request an extension, which is right here. I have no problems with that whatsoever. I just need to know. So you got to reach out to me and let me know about this. Okay. So yeah, let me go back. So here are all the assignments. Like I said, due dates. These are soft due dates. They're just there. Like if you were doing the homework and you're getting whatever done by those due dates, you will never ever be behind in class. And that's the idea behind it. The thing you got to remember here is we have 2 books. This is a pre-stat book, so it just goes over basic mathematics, things that I would think that you already know walking in to this class, but sometimes you forget, and I'm cool with that. Then here's the actual stat book itself. All right, and that is basically it. So I'm gonna kind of move my camera over to here real fast, and I guess I can show you Arthur. Let me see here. He's sleeping right now, and my floor is a little dirty because he has all of his toys and everything, but there he is right there. He's sleep. Oh, he just picked up his head. So there he is sleeping. And then the cats are, who knows where they are. But other than that, it was so nice meeting all of you. I hope you found the answers to my questions engaging. And the biggest thing, and I'll leave you with this, is if you have any questions, please just reach out and ask. I'm always here to help you. All right? So enjoy, have a good semester, and hopefully I'll meet one of you one day. See ya.